All right, Raindrop. So we are going to have our live YouTube show tonight. We have to get into Love and Marriage Huntsville, the TikTok of it all. Listen, the TikTok recaps of the latest episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville has me in stitches. I love it, love it, love it. Shout out to all the TikTok content creators who are talking about that scene that we're going to talk about.
Family, you are not ready for this. Just when people thought Love and Marriage Huntsville couldn't bring any more shockers, Carlos King, the man behind all the drama, pulled out a surprise that has the entire fanbase buzzing. It's the kind of twist that makes you stop scrolling, sit up, and say, wait, what did he just do? Because Carlos has always been a master at keeping viewers on edge, but this time, he didn't just tease us, he gave us something unexpected that changes everything. And the way fans are reacting right now? Phew, baby, it's messy, it's emotional, and it's proof that this show is still the most talked about reality series on OWN. Now, let's break it all down, because this surprise didn't just fall from the sky. It connects to years of cast drama, family betrayal, broken friendships, and fan complaints that the show was starting to lose its spark. What Carlos just did could either save the season or create more chaos than the cast can handle. And trust me, you don't want to miss a single detail. From the beginning, Love and Marriage Huntsville wasn't just a reality show. It was Carlos King's vision of pulling back the curtain on Black excellence, family dynamics, and the struggles of building legacies while balancing marriages. The original cast, Melody and Martell Holt, the Scotts, and later additions like Destiny and Stormy brought authenticity, love, and plenty of drama. Viewers instantly connected, not just because of the fights, but because the stories felt real. Melody's resilience as a mother, Martell's very public downfall, Kimmy's health journey, Letitia's constant battle for respect in her marriage, these weren't just storylines, they were real-life scars unfolding on screen. But as the seasons went on, fans started to feel something shift. The raw authenticity that once drew people in was being replaced with repetitive fights, recycled cheating rumors, and filler scenes that didn't hit as hard. People weren't just watching for drama anymore, they were demanding truth. And when the network began taking long breaks mid-season with little explanation, the frustration grew louder. Viewers wanted consistency, transparency, and the kind of gut-punch storylines that once made the show unmissable. Carlos heard all of it. And let's be honest, he's no stranger to fan pressure. He knows how to stir a pot just enough to get people talking again. But this time, instead of dropping another teaser or recycled promo, he gave fans a full-on surprise that nobody saw coming. And the timing? Perfect. Here's where it gets juicy. The big surprise Carlos dropped wasn't just a random announcement, it was a bombshell about the future of the show itself. Out of nowhere, he revealed that Love and Marriage Huntsville is adding something fans have been begging for, never-before-seen cast footage and raw behind-the-scenes moments that OWN had kept locked away. That's right, Carlos is finally giving fans access to what really goes down when the cameras stop rolling, the arguments spill over into the night, and the cast shows their unfiltered selves. Think about it. For years, fans have complained that the real drama wasn't happening on TV, it was happening on Instagram Lives, in interviews, and in shady posts on social media. People felt like they were getting more tea online than in actual episodes. Carlos took that criticism and flipped it into gold. By releasing behind-the-scenes footage, he's not only answering fan demands but also proving that nothing on this show is as simple as it looks. And the way fans reacted? Baby, the internet exploded. Some are thrilled, saying this is the fresh energy the show needed. Others are nervous, wondering what ugly truths might finally come to light. Because let's be real, if the cameras caught Martell in one of his unguarded moments, if Melody's private tears finally surface, or if the Scotts said things that were never supposed to be aired, this could shatter relationships forever. But here's the twist that makes this surprise even wilder. Carlos didn't just stop with extra footage. Oh no, he announced a brand new reunion format. Instead of the usual setup where the cast sits across from each other throwing shade while Carlos moderates, he's shaking it up completely. For the first time, fans themselves will get to be part of the reunion. Live audience questions, real-time fan polls, and even direct fan commentary will be included in the reunion special. That means no more hiding behind rehearsed answers or slick excuses. The cast is about to be held accountable in ways they've never experienced before. You can already imagine how this is going to play out. Fans who've had enough of Martell's excuses will finally be able to ask him directly why he can't let go of his old patterns. People who feel Letitia ignores the obvious in her marriage will get the chance to confront her. And Melody, who has carried this show on her back, will finally hear, in real time, the support and love that viewers have been flooding her with for years. This is the kind of reunion setup that can either heal old wounds or rip them open so wide they'll never close. And knowing Carlos King? He's counting on both. Now let's talk about the emotional impact, because this surprise isn't just about shock value, it's about power. For Melody, this could be both healing and heartbreaking. To see fans stand with her, to hear people validate her pain and resilience, could give her the strength she deserves. But at the same time, it might drag her back into wounds she's been trying so hard to heal. For Martell, the surprise reunion format is dangerous. He's always been quick to charm his way out of accountability, but fans won't be fooled so easily. They've seen years of broken promises, messy relationships, and failed apologies. If he thought he could keep playing both sides, this fan-led reunion might finally corner him into facing reality. As for the Scotts? Phew. They might be the ones most at risk. For years, fans have been calling out Marceau's slick comments, Morris's half-truths, and Letitia's constant defense of her husband. Now that fans have a direct microphone, all those frustrations that have been building up on Twitter and Instagram will hit them right in the face on national television. And the thing is, once something like that is out in the open, you can't take it back. So what does this all mean moving forward? Honestly, Carlos King just reminded everyone why he's called the king of reality TV. This surprise is bold, it's messy, and it's exactly what the franchise needed to shake off the dust. But it also raises the stakes higher than ever. Because when fans become part of the story, there's no more hiding behind production cuts or clever editing. The truth comes out raw, unfiltered, and in real time. Some fans are already saying this could be the best reunion yet. Others fear it might be the breaking point that tears the cast apart for good. And maybe that's exactly the point. Because Love and Marriage, Huntsville was never about being safe, it was about being real. So buckle up, family. Carlos King just handed the fans the power, and nothing about this show will ever be the same again. And I'll leave you with this: sometimes, the biggest surprise isn't the drama between the cast. It's the moment when the fans themselves finally step into the spotlight. What happens next? Only Carlos knows. But one thing's for sure: Love and Marriage, Huntsville just changed forever. The story we have followed has been filled with betrayal, heartbreak, and shocking truths. But the ending of this journey is not just about exposing lies, it is about facing the reality of pain, the strength it takes to keep going, and the lessons that remain when the spotlight fades. The people at the center of this storm have been broken, tested, and changed forever. And now, as we reach the final chapter, we must ask, what happens when the cameras turn off, when the headlines stop, and when those who were once celebrated are left with nothing but their choices? The truth is, every scandal leaves scars. For some, those scars become reminders of survival. For others, they become heavy chains that are too difficult to carry. This story was never just about fame or money, it was about trust, betrayal, family, and the dangerous price of ambition. Now, as everything collapses, the pain is impossible to ignore. Behind every headline, there is always a human being. People who laughed, cried, hoped, and loved. But fame swallows people whole. It makes promises that are never kept. It seduces with luxury but rarely delivers peace. The deeper you go into power and influence, the more dangerous it becomes. And for those who thought they could outsmart the game, the reality has been brutal. In these final days, the same people who were once surrounded by hangers-on and cheerleaders now sit in silence. The phones that once rang non-stop have gone quiet. The doors that were always wide open are now firmly shut. In the spotlight, you learn quickly that loyalty is temporary and love is conditional. When the empire begins to collapse, the crowd disappears. But even in the silence, there are voices that refuse to be ignored. The victims whose pain was buried under lies. The families who never got closure. The children who were forced to watch their parents' mistakes play out in public. Their voices rise louder now because truth cannot stay hidden forever. No matter how much money is spent, no matter how many people are paid off, truth finds its way to the surface. And when it does, it shakes everything. The ending here is not needed, is raw, complicated, and heavy. How do you close the book on a story where lives were shattered, where trust was stolen, and where hope turned to ashes? Maybe the answer is that you don't. Maybe the only way forward is to carry those lessons and never forget what was lost. For those betrayed, the road to healing will not be easy. They will rebuild piece by piece, learning how to trust again, learning how to love without fear. That kind of healing takes years. It takes courage. But survivors find strength in unexpected places. They rise even when no one believes they can. And when they rise, they remind the world that no scandal, no betrayal, no heartbreak can erase their worth. For those who caused the pain, the journey is different. They must live with the shadows of their choices. They may hide, they may reinvent themselves, but the past follows. Every secret is now part of history. And the world does not forget easily. Redemption is possible, but it is not guaranteed. It takes accountability, honesty, and real change. Anything less is just another performance. And people have seen enough performances. As the dust settles, we are left with a powerful reminder: fame does not protect anyone from consequences. No amount of money, no glamorous lifestyle, no powerful connections can erase the truth. What is done in the dark always comes to light. And when it does, it demands to be faced. But perhaps the most heartbreaking part is how many lives were caught in the crossfire. Friends lost each other. Children lost their innocence. Families were torn apart by secrets too heavy to carry. These people did not ask for this war, but they were dragged into it. And now, they too must find a way forward. Still, even in the middle of destruction, there is hope. Because when everything falls apart, it leaves space for something new to be built. When lies are stripped away, truth remains. And truth, no matter how painful, can set people free. It may not erase the past, but it can light the path forward. The road ahead will not be smooth. There will be critics, whispers, and those who refuse to forgive. But healing does not require everyone's approval. Healing begins with honesty, with looking in the mirror and facing the reflection without excuses. For those strong enough to do that, the future still holds possibilities. For us, the audience, there is a lesson too. It is easy to get caught up in the drama, to see these people as characters in a show. But they are not characters, they are human beings. And what happened to them can happen to anyone who ignores the warning signs of betrayal, ambition, and unchecked power. If nothing else, this story reminds us to protect our hearts, to value those who are truly loyal, and to never confuse fame with happiness. Scandals fade, but lessons remain. The names may disappear from headlines, but the impact of these choices will echo for years. For some, it will be a warning. For others, a guide. But for everyone touched by it, it will never be forgotten. And so, as the curtain falls, we are left with a haunting silence. Not the silence of peace, but the silence that comes after a storm, when people count what they lost and wonder what comes next. Maybe forgiveness. Maybe redemption. Maybe nothing at all. Only time will tell. But one thing is certain: no matter how carefully people try to hide, no matter how high the walls they build around their secrets, truth always finds a way. And when it does, it changes everything. This is the real ending. Not glamorous, not polished, not the kind of ending people dream about. But it is real. And sometimes, reality is the only thing left when the lights go out. For those still standing, the future will be built on pain, yes, but also on strength. They will walk forward carrying the memories of what was lost, but also the hope that something better can still be found. Survival is not just about making it through the storm, it is about believing that after the storm, the sun can still rise. That is the legacy of this story. A legacy written not in headlines, but in the lives forever changed. A reminder that fame is temporary, but truth is eternal. A reminder that love can be broken, but rebuilt. A reminder that even in the darkest moments, people can find light again. And as we close this chapter, we leave with a single thought: the story may be over, but the lessons remain for generations. The pain will not be forgotten. The betrayal will not be erased. But neither will the courage of those who survived. And in the end, that courage will define this story forever. I gave everything, and still, I was left with nothing, whispers the one who was betrayed, voice trembling but unbroken. But I am still here. I am still breathing. And that means I can still fight. I never thought it would end like this, admits the one who caused the harm, staring into the empty night. I thought I was untouchable. I thought money and fame would shield me. But I was wrong. And now, I see the faces of those I hurt every time I close my eyes. I just wanted my family, says the child, voice quiet but heavy with wisdom far beyond their years. I didn't want the cameras. I didn't want the drama. I just wanted my parents to love each other. Why was that too much to ask? I can forgive, but I will never forget, says the friend who walked away. I watched lies destroy everything we built. And I will never let myself be fooled again. These voices, these confessions, hang in the air like smoke. They are not scripted. They are not polished. They are raw, human truths. And they will echo long after this story ends. Maybe that is the true ending, not one of justice neatly delivered, but one of lessons carried in heavy hearts. Not an ending that erases pain, but one that dares to hope for healing. Because in the end, life rarely gives us perfect conclusions. Instead, it gives us chances to rise again, chances to rebuild, chances to choose differently. And for those who survive, that chance is everything. The curtain falls. The lights fade. The noise disappears. But the story remains in scars, in memories, in lessons. And perhaps that is enough. As this story reaches its conclusion, we are left with more than headlines and gossip. What remains is the weight of choices, the shattered trust, and the human cost that fame can never hide. Every decision left its mark. Every lie carried consequences. And now, the people who once seemed untouchable must face a reality that no money or influence can erase. When the lights fade and the crowds disappear, silence is louder than applause. It is in that silence that people begin to reckon with what they've done. The victims who were ignored now stand taller, their voices finally cutting through the noise. The families left in ruins carry memories too heavy to set aside. And the children, who never asked for any of this, now grow up with scars that remind them of how fragile love and trust can be. This ending is not wrapped in gold. It is not neat, polished, or easy to digest. It is uncomfortable, raw, and painful. But it is real. And sometimes, reality is all that remains once illusions are stripped away. The story doesn't close with celebration, it closes with reflection, with people learning the hard way that the truth always rises. No matter how deep it is buried, no matter how many walls are built around it, truth finds a way to break through. For those who endured betrayal, healing will take time. It will take strength to trust again, to rebuild piece by piece what was broken. But survival has a way of shaping people into warriors. Even in their darkest moments, they are proof that pain does not define the end of the journey. It can become the beginning of something new. For those responsible, the shadows will follow forever. They will live with the memories of the people they hurt and the destruction they caused. Redemption, if it comes, will not be handed to them. It will have to be earned through humility, accountability, and real change. Anything less will simply reopen wounds that never fully closed. And for those who survive, that chance is everything. The curtain falls. The lights fade. The noise disappears. But the story remains in scars, in memories, in lessons. And perhaps that is enough. As this story reaches its conclusion, we are left with more than headlines and gossip. What remains is the weight of choices, the shattered trust, and the human cost that fame can never hide. Every decision left its mark. Every lie carried consequences. And now, the people who once seemed untouchable must face a reality that no money or influence can erase. When the lights fade and the crowds disappear, silence is louder than applause. It is in that silence that people begin to reckon with what they've done. The victims who were ignored now stand taller, their voices finally cutting through the noise. The families left in ruins carry memories too heavy to set aside. And the children, who never asked for any of this, now grow up with scars that remind them of how fragile love and trust can be. This ending is not wrapped in gold. It is not neat, polished, or easy to digest. It is uncomfortable, raw, and painful. But it is real. And sometimes, reality is all that remains once illusions are stripped away. The story doesn't close with celebration, it closes with reflection, with people learning the hard way that the truth always rises. No matter how deep it is buried, no matter how many walls are built around it, truth finds a way to break through. For those who endured betrayal, healing will take time. It will take strength to trust again, to rebuild piece by piece what was broken. But survival has a way of shaping people into warriors. Even in their darkest moments, they are proof that pain does not define the end of the journey. It can become the beginning of something new. For those responsible, the shadows will follow forever. They will live with the memories of the people they hurt and the destruction they caused. Redemption, if it comes, will not be handed to them. It will have to be earned through humility, accountability, and real change. Anything less will simply reopen wounds that never fully closed.